What's going on, everyone? Good morning. Happy Saturday. Hope you guys are having an amazing weekend so far. In today's video, it should be a very nice, short, simple, sweet video talking about my overall thought process of the next week in the stock market. I'm going to talk about the SPY, the NASDAQ, the IWM, and the crypto market. All right, so without further ado, let's get started with the video. So we're starting off with this. Number one, this is a chart of the NASDAQ. And on Thursday, we opened outside of the lower Bollinger Band on the NASDAQ. When that happens in a bear market, basically that is probably the only time to become aggressively long. And that's what we did. We ended up going aggressively long on Apple. Now, historically, the next day after we open outside of the lower Bollinger Band on a major indice should also be very green. So we had a 90% chance that the next day after this happens should also be green. All right. But now this is where things get a little bit sticky, mainly because this Tuesday, Fed Powell speaks at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So the last time that he spoke, he said that inflation is here to stay, that we will not and aren't currently in a recession. And he said that we would just continue having 50 basis point hikes. We wouldn't be having 75 basis point hikes. So the market took this as a very, very bullish sign. And the SPY ended up bouncing to 430 intraday. So you can see here, intraday, we bounced up to 430. And then during the speech, she started saying, yeah, you know, it'll give us like cushion for something for a soft landing. A soft landing implies that the market would be falling much lower. And that's exactly what happened. So since his speech, we fell over 10% since that's happened, and then we bounced recently. All right, so now, since we know all of that stuff, we put it all together, what is the next steps in the market? So clearly we have a falling wedge breakout on the SPY, and falling wedges are some of the most beautiful bullish patterns that one can ask for on shorter and larger time frames. So we have that going for us so far. And this move that we had to the upside definitely confirms that the downward move that we had on the SPY, at least from 430 to 385, was algo driven. Because as you can see here, as the SPY was falling very, very sharply, we can take a look at the VIX, and the VIX was curbed. All right, they were trying to keep volatility at bay, and they did that pretty well. And you can see here, this is not conducive with a super bearish move in the SPY, right? If in normal circumstances, during like a normal market sell-off, the VIX would be spiking like we see here, but it didn't spike. You can see this is basically a range, and they kept it within a range. They did that very nicely. Kudos to them. But now, as you can see here, this moved to the upside with a VIX. We fell down over 9% yesterday. So definitely algo driven. So now what? Now that we know that, what is going to happen next? Now, just keeping this very simply, the fact that the SPY closed above 400 and the fact that the NASDAQ, the QQQ closed above 300 is very, very bullish. So now moving forward, because the Fed speaks on Tuesday at 2 o'clock, it complicates things a bit. So a move upward is going to be heavily determined on what he says during the speech. But in a perfect world, if he wasn't speaking this week, the SPY should be at least testing 411 in the early days of the week. Easily, in my opinion, test 410 to 411. Most likely what should be happening, if the Fed is also bullish, we should be testing 415 to 420. At that level, at 415 to 420, that would be a good time to start thinking that this move is finished. But then that would be also a great time for the market makers to push it back up to 430. Make people think that the move is a continued move to the upside. Get people very, very biasly flipped in terms of, oh, okay, this is just a bear market rally. Get people to think that this is actually going to break above 430. A lot of things that they can do here. But since the Fed is speaking at 2 o'clock, really the most we can do is just take this one level at a time. So the SPY clearly has resistance at 405 to 406. If we close above those, resistances and start breaking above them, that is going to be a very, very bullish thing, because today we barely crossed above 403. 403 was a very heavily massive level of resistance on Friday. If on Monday we can start to begin trading above 405 and 406, calls have to go long, because that is a very, very major level of resistance that we have finally broken. All right, so this has been a major level of supply here, 1, 2, 3, 4, multiple days here. If we can break above that, Monday should be a very, very bullish day. We could end up seeing at least 407 to 408. But again, because this is a very heavy rally, it might not break into 410 tomorrow on Monday, but definitely the level that you need to watch for is 405 to 406. The support is obviously going to be 400 on the SPY, and really that is going to be the zone that you have to trade within. And for the NASDAQ, for a nice bullish move continue to the upside, we need to see at least 307 to 308. But regardless, Monday, if the SPY closes and starts breaking above 405, 406, the NASDAQ starts breaking above 307, 308, things look good to the upside for a continued move on Monday. And then Tuesday is going to be very, very choppy. People aren't going to know which direction the Fed is going to take it. But then after his speech, or during his speech, if the market ends up breaking above those key levels of resistance once more, and the SPY ends up breaking above 410, 411, the NASDAQ ends up breaking above 310, 311 as well, that is another good sign to start going long for a move potentially for the SPY to at least 415. And that is basically where I think that should happen, at least. If in a perfect world, if he wasn't speaking on Tuesday, that is where the market should have been going. So in my opinion, he might say some bullish stuff, because if he doesn't start saying bullish stuff, and he doesn't hint at bearishness, we're just gonna fall back down. So he has to say something bullish, dovish, without saying anything bearish, to allow the market to go back up, and to allow longer term bears to load back up into shorts and bring us back down. So overall, that's going to be the market dynamic. Unfortunately, he speaks on Tuesday. Otherwise, we would have clear blue green skies to continue upwards. So there's that analysis for the stock market. But what's interesting now is the crypto market is showing a lot of weakness. All right. And it's basically showing, this pattern here is basically showing us we're either going to bounce or we're going back down to this trend line at 24,000, which I don't think is going to be possible. But of course, anything is possible. And usually, when the stock market finds a bottom and the crypto market has not yet found a bottom, and basically when the stock market is bouncing, right, but the crypto market is not, Bitcoin ends up following the stock market. So I believe that if on Monday we're also green, because we've found this base so far on Bitcoin, and because the SPY and the NASDAQ is also bouncing pretty substantially, Bitcoin should be bouncing. Like this pattern has played out beautifully many times. So Bitcoin should be bouncing to at least 33,000 soon. And it's just very simple. Like if the NASDAQ and the SPY were both falling very sharply, but Bitcoin was showing, it just plays out, guys. All right. So just keep that in mind. On Monday, if the market is continuing to be green, it's a good time to load up into short-term swings, short-term plays for your Bitcoin longs and your crypto longs in general, because I believe the crypto market should be bouncing and following the overall stock market. All right. So I hope I did a good job explaining what my thought process was for the entire stock market and the crypto market. Hope you guys have an amazing weekend. Get a lot of rest, get some good sleep in, because next week is going to be very fun as well. So I hope you guys have a good one. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff, and I will see you guys Monday. Thank you.